So President Trump visited California, and say earlier today, I think to talk with some of the officials down there about the massive wildfires that obviously have been exacerbated, made a lot worse by climate change. And when this topic was brought up, Trump very flippantly said, well, it'll get cooler. Trump is obviously pretty famous for his climate change denial, and I mean, this is like the permanent lie that Trump likes to talk about with regards to climate change and so many other issues. When like just the clear reality, the clear scientific consensus is that human-caused climate change is continuing to get worse. Literally, the whole West Coast last week, still this week, has some of the worst air quality in the world. Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, BC, San Francisco, etc. And this isn't normal, but from Trump's perspective, well, climate change isn't real. It's going to get cooler. We just got to clean up the brush. Clean up the brush. I mean, it's pretty disgusting. These wildfires have burned millions of acres and claimed at least 33 lives in recent weeks. So this is an exchange between Trump and Wade Crowfoot, California's Natural Resource Secretary. And this is where Trump just says, it'll get cooler. Chill out. Literally, chill out. It'll get cooler.
Seeing this warming trend make our summers warmer, but also our winters warmer as well. But I think one area of mutual agreement and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests, and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay. It'll start getting cooler.
Jesus Christ.
Science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I don't think science knows. But Trump, the all-knowing, the omnipotent, the all-powerful Trump, he knows. Fuck the scientific consensus. Fuck all the research. Those scientists don't know shit. I mean, Jesus Christ, how just completely deranged and literally disconnected from the reality that's sitting right in front of him. I mean, for goddamn. It'll start getting cooler. I don't think science knows, Trump said. I mean, goddamn. And then here's an exchange between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Trump.
57% of the land in this state is federal forest land. 3% is California. So we really do need that support. We need that emphasis of engagement. And we are fully committed to working with...
Sorry, just a quick side note. Why do these people at these press conferences never just have their own water bottles? And why would this person not have their mask on? They're not even speaking. Fuck off.
Advance that cause. And final point, I'd be negligent, and this is not, and we've known each other too long, and as you suggest, the working relationship I value. We obviously feel very strongly that the hots are getting hotter, the dries are getting drier. When we're having heat domes, the likes of which we've never seen in our history, the hottest August ever in the history of the state, the ferocity of these fires, the drought, 5+ years, losing 163 million trees to that drought. Something's happened to the plumbing of the world. And we come from a perspective, humbly, where we submit the science and observed evidence is self-evident, that climate change is real and that is exacerbating this. And so I think there's an area of at least commonality on vegetation, forest management, but please respect, and I know you do, the difference of opinion out here as it relates to this fundamental issue on the issue of climate change.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
President of the United States climate change denier, as literally the whole West Coast is on fire. 10% of the population of Oregon has had to evacuate. 1 million plus acres have burned in Oregon. Same thing's going on in California, in Washington. Again, some of the worst air quality in the world right now is on the west coast of the United States, and the president is a climate change denier. So, a new comprehensive study which relied on an analysis of tens of millions of years of atmospheric records trapped in layers at the Earth's subsurface found that the world is currently on track to hit a warming threshold as not witnessed in more than 34 million years. But it's going to get cooler. Science doesn't actually know anything. That's Trump. Meanwhile, expert after expert has confirmed that the unprecedented wildfires raging across the West are exactly what climate scientists have been warning about for years. And again, sticking your head in the sand, denying it like Trump and a fair amount of Republican politicians as well, it's not going to make it go away. It's going to continue and continue to get worse and worse. And again, climate change is an issue that doesn't discriminate on political party or whatever. It affects everybody. Everybody needs clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, a place to live that's not going to get flooded out by rising sea levels or taken out by, these more intense and more frequent hurricanes. People need to be able to have food. Droughts affect everybody. It affects the food source. Extreme, rain events, different levels of snowpack. All of these things, it affects literally everybody. It's just ridiculous that climate change has been made into a political issue. It's nuts. But again, I'd also like to call out Gavin Newsom here a little bit. Despite promises to ban fracking, Newsom quietly approved 12 new permits last week during a pandemic. There he was trying to lecture Trump about the science of climate change. And again, I found a very common Democratic tactic is to, we believe in the science. The science is clear. There's a scientific consensus that, humans have caused our climate to change in all of these ways that have had these really horrible negative impacts on our natural world that are impacting us, the human species, as well as all these non-human life forms, and we need to address it. But then you have Newsom proving 12 new fracking permits during a pandemic. Okay, so that's talking out both sides of your mouth there, Gavin Newsom. It's disgusting. This is from Food and Water Action California Director Alexander Nagy. Newsom is further retreating from his campaign promise by quietly and shamefully approving new fracking in the middle of a pandemic. When he thought no one was paying attention, Newsom is proven to be another lapdog of the polluting oil industry, just like his predecessor, Jerry Brown. Fracking poisons the air we breathe and the water we drink, making the permitting of this practice even more reprehensible during a global pandemic. I like this. If Newsom wants to be the health and environmental leader he so often claims to be, he needs to halt new fracking now and begin immediately ramping down fossil fuel extraction in the state, period. Cosign on that. Governor Newsom needs to think about the future generations, think of his own children, the world he wants to leave behind, and ban fracking. It's a very similar tactic to Joe Biden. He talks about the existential threat of climate change while he also doesn't support a ban on fracking or a Green New Deal. At least Trump, to his credit, he's consistent. He thinks, or he either believes or just, spouts off that climate change isn't real, don't believe in the science, and governs from that perspective, while Democrats like to say they believe in science, but they're only, marginally better on the issue of the environment and climate change than Trump. So pick your poison. Pick your poison. Peace.